So, since Disney keeps dropping these things at an alarming rate, I guess we're gonna do a triple feature. That's right, we're gonna talk about 5, 6, and 7. So last time we left off, Kylo had just declared himself the King of Naboo. So in true First Order fashion, they begin to invade. As they are doing this, Hux is concerned because he feels like that Kylo's wasting the First Order's resources. What he really thinks they should be doing is invading Corellia. He has a battle plan to take a shipyard. But Kylo only has one concern: are the people of Naboo fighting back? Later, we cut to the city square of Spinaker. The First Order have rounded up all the people, and the stormtroopers are told to eliminate any resistance with extreme prejudice. They are supposed to keep eliminating until they find someone who is in power that will bend the knee. They are then attacked by a lone warrior, dressed in all black and goggles. He eliminates all the stormtroopers with extreme prejudice, I might add. The people of Naboo look astonished and ask him, "How did you do this?" And the stranger says, "I'll show you." As it turns out, this stranger is none other than Kylo Ren himself. He is now fighting this war on both sides, trying to force the people of Naboo to grow. Kylo explains to the rebels that the First Order is careless and not as powerful as they seem. The rebels then bring up that they heard a story about how the First Order was defeated by Luke Skywalker and Leia Organa on Crate. Kylo quickly tries to dismiss those rumors as nothing other than war propaganda. Anyway, we get a montage of Kylo helping the rebels and also pushing back at the First Order at the same time. It comes to a head when Hux decides to use a dreadnought to destroy the coastal city of Spinaker. But at the same time, Kylo is teaching them how to defeat a dreadnought. As the First Order begins their bombardment, they are attacked by the rebels, and their ships consist of N1 starfighters and X-Wings mixed with TIE fighters. Out of nowhere, it's like Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy. The rebels' plan is to take out all the autocannons on the underside of the dreadnought, because the First Order has no way of protecting them. As the battle rages on, Vaneen walks up to Kylo and asks him, "Why are you doing this?" Kylo says, "The people of Naboo need to grow. I'm giving them the catalyst to do so." Vaneen tells Kylo that his lineage runs deep, for Vader also hated himself in the beginning. Before Vaneen can even finish this statement, Kylo's already ripping him apart with the Force. Vaneen's stammering, quickly trying to explain himself. No, I only meant that Vader hated himself in the beginning because he lost everything, and way deep down, he felt responsible for it. He was lost, just like you are, Kylo. Now you're finding all these ridiculous excuses to attack the First Order because it's the closest thing you can get to attacking yourself. Kylo throws him across the room and asks him, "Do you have anything useful to give me? You promised me power, and all you've given me is empty words." Sensing this might be the end, Vaneen quickly answers, "There's a vault. There's a vault on Mustafar. It contains all the power you could ever want, but you're never going to be able to find it. And even if you could, you're never going to be able to open it." Kylo leans down and says, "You will show me." Vaneen snaps back, "No, you would just destroy it, and yourself, just like how you're trying to do here. I'd rather die than watch Vader's legacy fall into the hands of someone who's unworthy." Kylo pauses. "So you think I'm unworthy? So what do you think would make me worthy?" It's simple. You're obsessed with killing the past. Whether you like to admit it or not, we are our past. So stop playing these silly little games and find yourself an enemy worthy of you and your hate. Kylo then calls off the attack on Naboo, and the dreadnought leaves. As the rebels return, cheering about their victory, Kylo is sitting, looking at his hood and goggles, and they tell him, "Hey, it's actually nice to see your face. We're never gonna forget you for what you've done." The next panel is red from Kylo's lightsaber. It shows that he has cut down all the rebels. And he asks Vaneen, "You think I need an enemy? Someone that will actually put up a fight? Someone whose defeat that will actually give me something other than talking? Someone that I might actually remember killing? Then find me one." Vaneen answers, "Yes, my prince. I think I have just the one." Next issue, guys. Execute Order 66. Issue 6 opens up with the invasion of Corellia. Hux is being praised for his battle plans. In fact, he's even giving a victory speech talking about how they are all heroes today. Then, out of nowhere, Kylo Ren comes in his TIE silencer, attacking the main headquarters head on. We get another scene where the First Order is worried about the well-being of Kylo Ren, and Hux could care less, and I'm here for it. Later, at the victory celebration, Kylo tells Hux that he knows that all this makes him feel small, and that it's not really his role to feel large. They're also going to meet for an after-action report. Also, pretty good job on the throne. Later at the report, Hux explains they're going to be able to utilize Corellia's shipyards to help rebuild their fleet from Starkiller Base, Crate, and Naboo. There are small pockets of insurgences, but they will be stomped out. Kylo says, good, you're dismissed. Clearly hurt, Hux says, well, there's just one other thing. I worked really hard on this invasion. It was meticulously planned. Perfect lightning strikes, if you will. I understand your decision to attack the enemy's leadership head on, but that could have gone the other way. Please keep me involved going forward so I can be most effective. Kylo gets upset that an inferior is chastising him over his battle tactics and quickly dismisses him. As Hux stomps off, Vaneen contacts Kylo and tells him, I found the Jedi. Kylo and Vaneen travel to the mid-rim planet of Lati. As they arrive, Kylo questions how could there even be a Jedi there? He thought Darth Vader killed all of them. Vaneen compares the Jedi to roach rats. You think you've killed them all, and then another appears. He explains that Vader tried his best, but his role in the Empire shifted to strangle the rebellion, since the Jedi were the ones that inspired them. He also explains that this Jedi was discovered right before Vader's death, but Vader was preoccupied with Kylo's uncle. He also tells Kylo that if he truly wants to be like Vader, he must hunt alone. Kylo looks at the woods and says, yes, I like this. Vaneen, you stay here. I'm going to bring you the Jedi's head. Perhaps you'll be friends. A rare moment of humor from the Supreme Leader. There's a small montage of Kylo walking through the woods. I'm going to tell you guys, it looks just like Narnia. It's really, really weird. It's like Kylo's kind of like walking through a fantasy land. I'm not really sure what this planet's all about, but maybe it'll make it on a tier list someday. Who knows? He ends up finding a small town and a bar and starts with the Han Solo thing. He orders a drink, wine, if you must know, and tries to get information from the bartender, but quickly gets annoyed and starts forcibly mind-probing him. Suddenly, his lightsaber is ripped from his belt and lands in the hands of an old alien woman. She activates it and says, my, you should have this looked at. The crystal's cracked. Maybe you and I should chat. And now, issue 7, where we last left Kylo. He had just gotten his lightsaber taken away from him by the Jedi Grendeya. He's now in the bar screaming at her to return his lightsaber to him. She answers, no, why would I do that? You're just gonna cut me down. You're about ready to learn how brilliant I actually am. Let's take this outside. Once they're outside, Kylo demands to know how she knows his name. She answers, it's because he's been screaming it so loud inside his own head. He tells her to get out of his head. And she retorts, oh, like what you were doing to that poor bar owner in there. Oh, I'm not in your head. I'm just picking up what you're giving off. She asks him, why are you looking for a Jedi? He says that he has his reasons. She says, well, you're going to have to keep looking, because I'm not a Jedi. And he says, I wish you weren't a liar. You knew about my cracked crystal, and you know how to use the Force. She pauses and says, I was once a Jedi, but not anymore. Tell me, have you ever heard of Order 66? The issue then flashbacks to the Clone Wars. Grendeya and her master are looking over battle plans. She says that she needs some tea. She asks her master if he needs some too. She runs off to go get some. As she's grabbing tea, their clones are given Order 66. Her master is gunned down. As her clones cornered her, she says she only survived because she used a weapon that they didn't expect. No, this weapon wasn't a lightsaber, but it was something that always fascinated her. This technique was often dismissed in the Order as an undignified and unworthy one. They never outright said it, but it was considered a little more than just a trick. She uses the Jedi mind trick and tells her clones that the Jedi has disguised herself as one of them, and that they need to do what must be done and not take any chances. And she's able to escape as the clones beat the crap out of each other. Time passes, and she hears Obi-Wan's message telling her to trust in the Force. So she reaches out to the Force, and it tells her to survive. So she burns her Jedi robes and destroys her lightsaber, because the Empire is encouraging civilians to help in the hunt for remaining Jedi. She left everything behind, except for her connection to the Force and the mind trick. She lived by honing her skills, telling everyone she met to forget about her. She even got so good at the mind trick that she was even able to influence Todarians and Hutts. But no matter where she went, she never felt safe. She's eventually tracked down by Vader and his Inquisitors. She had no weapon, so her only option was to run. She's being chased by the 9th and 13th sister. And as she's running, she feels a hot sensation through her leg, and she falls to the ground. And as they walk up, she says, "You killed me." They answer, "Not yet, little lady," and then stab her in the shoulder. It should also be noted that the lightsaber keeps flying and hits a fuel cell, so there's a nice fire backdrop to all of this. As the lightsaber blade goes into her shoulder, she says it again, "You killed me." Blood coming out of her nose, all Susan Richards style. Suddenly, they stop, and Grindea is able to crawl away as they say, "We killed her." They go back and tell Vader that they killed her. He questions it, but they say her body was incinerated. Convincing those Inquisitors took everything out of Grindea and almost killed her. She says her abilities have gone far beyond what her masters could have contemplated. It's more than just a trick. It's allowed her to survive, and it still does. So there you have it. She's not a Jedi anymore. She was for a time, but that doesn't define her. She took what she needed, and she moved on. She's many things, much like Kylo is. Kylo finally speaks and says she's close enough for his purposes. She answers, what could he possibly want with killing a stranger connected to an ancient religion? She begins to probe his mind. Kylo's crying out in pain, and she says, "You poor thing, you could have been so much more." Kylo's able to get his wits, and he force pushes her away. In doing so, he's able to get his hands on his lightsaber, and he pulls her back to him and slashes her with his blade. He stands over the body and says, "Now, for Skywalker." Suddenly, her corpse turns and looks at him and says, "Oh, so that's what you want. Well, I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but Luke Skywalker's dead." Kylo retorts back, "You lie," as her corpse begins to float. The corpse answers, "Not at all. I felt his passing very strongly through the Force. You were a student, weren't you? I wonder why you didn't feel it." She then begins to ask him, "Who are you?" And it gets louder and louder and louder until Kylo can't take it and he slashes. And suddenly, she's gone. And he drops to his knees and just starts screaming. Okay, Duners, so this is literally the definition of a mixed bag, because I like some of them a lot. I kind of don't like some of them a lot. So issue 5, I think the artwork is rough and I think the story is rushed. Honestly, I feel like this could have been several issues because, I mean, Kylo just kind of did the whole Galactic Civil War just like this, bam, 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 and learned a lesson, maybe? I don't know. It just felt like it was just kind of pushing us to the next issue, which the artwork got a little bit better, but this just felt like it was just kind of jumping around a lot. Because, I mean, we got the quick invasion, then it was like, hey, we found a Jedi, let's go find the Jedi. But I do like the planet. Lati is a neat looking planet, so I will give it that. But guys, issue 7 is a return to form. I really enjoy Grindea's character. I like the idea of a Jedi that, you know, laid down their weapon and just got really, really good at using the Force. I really like the look of the little Gothic Victorian village that Grindea and Kylo have their little confrontation in. I think it really kind of feeds into the idea that she's some sort of witch. Also, if we're going to go into that as well, I don't think she was actually there ever. I think that she was somehow projecting into Kylo's mind, and she probably wasn't ever there to begin with, which is pretty wild. So kind of annoying that there is another survivor of Order 66, but at the same time, I think that she's got a good excuse, that she's just that good at the mind trick. So yeah, 7, best of the lot. 5 and 6, just okay. But guys, I'm hopeful for the future because 8's just around the corner, and guess what? Here come the Knights of Ren.